Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? I really wanted to, get into this because I want to talk about Alex and I would love to talk about Tim. And I just would love to talk about their entire dynamics because I think that, when I try to gauge it on how people feel about this situation, I feel like nobody really understands it the way I do. Like, I don't understand it the same way everybody else does. Like, my perspective is just vastly very different than everybody else was. Like, okay, I think a couple of things was weird. I'm not gonna, say that these things was not weird. I think it was weird that he kept on bringing up his deceased sisters. It gave that I'm not over it, right? I'm still hurt about that. It gives that. And that he might need some therapy to heal. And consistently bringing it up shows me that it's something that's hurting. His feelings are so hurt, and there's something emotionally about that's like, it's heartbreaking, right? For him still. And I understand him trying to make his sisters a part of the experience. But at the same time, I think that having somebody who had no connection or who knew the person who died, who did not know the person who died, have direct links to them is very strange. I think that you should connect it somehow, have a connection somehow. Like, I don't know, maybe watch old videos. Let the person at least get to know your sisters the way you know them before you start giving them presents from your sister. It's just very, strange to me. I think that was weird, right? I even think that, him referring to himself as a dog, I think that was a little weird, because he kept on saying, and he did it in a joking manner, but I felt like that was weird as well, right? But those are the only thing that I kind of find very strange. I think that Alex did not like Tim from the beginning. Like, as she spend more time with this man and, spend more time getting to know him, before this reason season, everything she did, like, showed us that everything he did was irritating to her. She was just very irritated by this man. And I think, like, he has a lot of feminine mannerisms and how he walks and how he stands and how he motions, even how he crosses his legs. He doesn't go, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain ways, certain things about him that he can't control that's very feminine. And I think that she saw that, like, oh, this man is very, like, it's a lot of feminineness. Like, he's very feminine. And I just thought that was just absolutely just weird that she did not like him for those reasons. That's what I think. I think that she just did not like him as a person, didn't like him. It seemed like every time he would say something, a joke was dry, it was lame. She just thought that he was a loser, had the perspective that she just thought that he was a loser, just a plain loser. And a lot of people was like, well, in the pause when they were talking, it seemed like he was just, trying to get specifics. I'm like, but isn't that what you're supposed to do in the pods? Like, you're supposed to get specifics and see the type of person that you could potentially be with. I'm just saying, I didn't think that was wrong when he was asking all these heavy questions in the pods. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. I just think that he's not healed yet. So his questioning maybe came from trauma. I can see that. But I think that when it comes down to how he handled her, let's keep going, right? So, like, when they got out of the pods, it felt like she did not like him and who he was naturally. She felt like he was too feminine, and she felt like he just, like, just different things about him. She just did not like how it just seemed like he was just chill and just, closed off just naturally. I think that she's used to arguing with males. I think she goes back and forth with men. And I don't think he's the type of person that would do that with her. And I think he's made it clear on multiple occasions that I'm not finna go there with you, sis. Like, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna go do the back and forth. But when he said that, like, she was over here like, oh, you're, like, make it a negative thing. Like, oh, you're not gonna argue with me? Like, I felt like that was a red flag. Because what do you mean that it should never be an argument. You guys can have a conversation, a discussion, but to say that, oh, okay, you're gonna argue with me, I felt like that was weird. I felt like it was very, very weird just how, like, when her family came into town, he made it a priority, right? And a lot of people are gonna say, well, she owes him nothing for that, and I beg to differ. I feel as though if somebody shows you a kind of kindness and courtesy, I feel like that should be a mental note as a person. Like, hey, this person showed me this. Let me, give them the same common courtesy. When her people came into town, however long they came and however long the entire process took, he was present for it and he showed up for them. He even, got up, seasoned, cooked, grilled, and washed dishes. I felt like that was a beautiful thing that he chose to do, right? However, I felt like she could have offered his family the same level of respect and the same level of mutual understanding. He didn't do that. He wasn't kind in that man. Like, not he. She didn't do that. I'm sorry. Like, he cooked and he did everything. And when, her parents came, he was a wonderful human being, even made her dad cry. She offered so much. I think that she should have offered that too. Her saying, oh, I was just so tired, I fell asleep, I felt like it was, no, that I felt like that was an excuse. I felt like it was just for you not to show him that simple, sweet, kind, just like courtesy that she, like, it's not even a gesture, courtesy that he showed you. That was a red flag to me too. I'm not gonna lie, because yeah, you can't control how tired you are. Yeah, you can't control any of that. But when he goes out to his parents and he's talking to them, and if it was the other way around, and somebody goes straight to sleep as soon as filming is over or production is over, it gives the idea like you were faking. You were only putting on for the television, for the TV, and then, oh, as soon as the TV's over, now you're going to sleep. It gives that I'm here for the cameras. I would have felt like that. And I think that a lot of women have a really hard time seeing things in a male perspective. I think that they feel as though because if Tim would have done half the stuff to her, if the roles were reversed, a lot of women would not be here for Tim. A lot of women would be like, oh, he's just here for fame. He's just here for fame, because when the camera's cut, now you fall asleep. Like, what? I think that would be the energy. But because it's a man, a lot of people cannot see that he was done wrong in the situation. In my humble opinion, I feel as though she could have showed up for him in that way, And I think the fact that he was argumentative, she was argumentative, I'm sorry, as well, is a problem, because it just seemed like during fights and how she took it, calling him out his name and all of that. And what something else I want to say, that he had his sisters in his life, he had his mother in his life, so he has an example or examples of what amazing women look like. So if you're something short of it, I feel as though he would know, because he has that example of what amazing women look like. If you're anything short of amazing to this man, and he decides that that's not something he wants to consistently agree upon dealing with, and he decides that I'm going to step away from that, he's not wrong, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's not wrong, because he can make that decision to not participate in that. He doesn't have to necessarily participate with somebody or in a situation with somebody how that offers him little to no respect. He doesn't deserve that. He should not participate with somebody who just simply just does not understand him and does not care to understand him, or care to take, the certain lengths to try to get and understand where he's coming from. I think that she's very argumentative and she's very bickery. She always wants to bicker with him. So I think that it makes it very hard, because I don't think he wants to argue, but he wants to have conversations. And I think that there is a difference. I think she wants to argue. She doesn't want to communicate or have, constructive conversation with him. And I think that makes it hard to get into that situation or get into that place. And I think that, on top of everything that she naturally is, she's abusive. Like, what? You're abusive? Yes, you're abusive and you're dirty. That's what it is. You're dirty. And the thing is, I understand not cleaning something or whatever, but she made different references in the pods about her saying, oh, this is not clean. This is she made it a point to ask him how he feels about cleanliness. And I think that's because she's not clean. So she's insecure about that. And I think that's why she asked him, how do you feel about cleanliness? And he was like, there's a difference between cleanliness and just being plain old dirty. And she knew that deep down in her heart, she just wasn't clean. And so I think that's why that was an insecurity. And when he came to her apartment and he saw that, he was like, this is beyond just not clean. This is dirty. This is dirty. And he told her in the pause that was something that he necessarily did not want. He didn't want to feel like his partner was a dirty person. And in living with her showing what she, was showing then, and then how she shows up in the pause. And I think I think that she lacks relationship do unto others etiquette, Like, and maybe that's like a life thing. Maybe if somebody does something kind for you, you don't have to do the same amount of kind stuff for them, but just take that into account that, hey, they did something really kind for you. And I don't think you should just like sweep it under the rug or not acknowledge it, or, you know what I'm saying, move on like business as usual. Just acknowledge that somebody did something kind for you, and they did that from the kindness of their heart, and offer them the same level, if like not the same thing, but the same level of respect and courtesy. And I don't think Tim's wrong for not wanting to be with her, because she was showing him a whole lot. Her energy, just day-to-day energy, it seemed like she was always disgusted with who he was as a person. And just, I'm wrapping it up, like, at the end of the day, this person was just very mean, like not being very kind to him, especially during conversations where it should have been a discussion versus a fight. You know, it just seemed like this person was being very nasty, and this person was not clean, and this person did not like stay up, or was like cared about his family enough to even give them her full attention the entire time that they were there. In my opinion, I don't think Tim was completely wrong for not wanting to continuously put up with her, because it was very jarring and very, scary. And then on top of it, it's a Virgo and a Leo. Can you imagine? Like, what do they say about Virgos and Leos?
So if you're a Virgo, you may have noticed you don't always get along with Leo, and here's why. Leo can say hurtful things to you, like, why is this never enough? Why is nothing ever good enough for you? You're never happy. When are you gonna stop messing around and just appreciate what you have? And you guys butt heads sometimes, because what Leo doesn't realize is that happiness is not a destination for you. Because you're ruled by Mercury, you do things that make you feel proud, but after a little bit of time passes and things change, you look at it again and you realize you're not proud anymore. So you go back and tweak things so you can be proud of what you've done. But Leo, ruled by the sun, doesn't see things that way. Leo says, Virgo, what a masterpiece that you've created. But in their eyes, they don't see you making it better. They see you tearing apart a masterpiece. So Leo says, Virgo, that was good. Are you not happy with yourself or what you've done? And since you're a mutable sign and they're a fixed sign, they're not able to see that you're making things better every single time. They're not able to see that things that are perfect can become even more perfect.
Virgos and Leo can be compatible in like various of ways, including as friends, romantic partners, and co-workers in some cases, right? So like Virgos can admire Leo's confidence and charisma, while Leos can appreciate Virgo's wisdom and reliability. They can balance fun and responsibility, making for a supportive and enjoyable friendship. As far as romantic partners, Virgos are grounded and can be contained, while Leo has that passion, turning it into like something practical and, profitable. However, Virgos can also be crucial in being very critical, which can crush Leo's, praise hungry spirit. And Leos should, as far as Leos go, they should build up their confidence, and not take Virgo's feedback to heart. So Leos are like very sensitive, where Virgos are too honest. And when I say honest, sometimes it's brutally honest, where it could be taken, just offensive, and it could be taken to heart. And the thing is, with Leos, they like aspired for you to just be very flattering to them. Like, you got to feed a Leo's ego, but they're very, very like fragile, emotionally or sensitive. They're very sensitive people. So the little bit that you say to them, they can take it to heart. They can, take it very personal, and the key to a successful Virgo relationship, like a Virgo-Leo relationship, is mutual respect and willingness to embrace each other's differences. They can share their needs openly and honestly, and develop like a long-lasting relationship if it's mutual. Like, if they both are giving each other what the other is giving, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I was saying, this further supports what I was saying, that you have to give me like what I give you. If I'm respecting you, it's not too much for me to expect respect back. I should not have to explain to you how to respect me properly. And I feel as though this man had to consistently explain to her to give him what he gives to her so freely. And I think that's where the frustration lies. If I'm respectful of you and I treat you in a certain type of way, I should not have to ask you, show you, or communicate to you that you need to give me that same respect. When her parents was there, he was the most respectful and then like the best gentleman, and it's not too much for him to expect her to be the same way. He was there the entire time, stayed up, and it had to be tiring for him to cook and do all the things that he was doing, but he did that and wash dishes. So it's not like too much for her to do the same for him. He's not asking for her to just do all this hard work. No, he's asking for her to show up for him like he showed up for her. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. She's abusive. She's dirty. And the way in which she handled the situation was absolutely horrible. And that's why they, wasn't going to be together. I'm glad she didn't beg him, because I don't expect her to beg anybody. It just wasn't working. It just wasn't a good match. But I think that, as far as her goes and how she handled the situation, for me, it wasn't okay. I don't think he's wrong. A lot of people feel like he's wrong. Unpopular opinion. I don't think he's wrong. I think that, she showed herself for who she was, and he recognized that and decided not to participate. Point blank, period. And everybody has that right. Like, if you see how somebody's moving and you decide that that's not what you want, okay. She didn't like him from the beginning. Every instance she took, she was always making snappy comments. But y'all, that's just my perspective on that situation. Y'all let me know what y'all feel about this, and let me know what you think about the things that I've said. I love you guys to pieces, and bye.